deteriorating relations between the CCP and neighboring countries, Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, and India in 2023. First, China and India have been reported to mutually expel each other's journalists. According to the Wall Street Journal's report on May 30, in recent weeks, India and China have expelled each other's journalists, effectively severing media contact between the two sides. The report states that India refused to renew visas for the last two Chinese Communist Party (CCP) journalists in the country this month. The journalists in question were from Xinhua News Agency and China Central Television. After their visas expired, they have left India. Some sources claim that there are now no CCP journalists left in India, marking possibly the first time since at least the 1980s. Earlier this year, India had 4 journalists stationed in China. Sources reveal that journalists from one of India's largest newspapers, the privately owned The Hindu, and the state-run All India Radio were prohibited from returning to China after traveling abroad. Additionally, a reporter from the Indian Express was informed this month that their press credentials had been revoked. Second, China and India took a confrontational stance regarding the location of the G20 Tourism Working Group meeting. From May 22 to 24, as the rotating chair of the G20, India chose Srinagar, the capital of Indian-administered Kashmir, as the venue for the G20 Tourism Working Group meeting. Due to the region being a disputed territory between India and Pakistan, China strongly opposed India's decision and refused to send representatives to attend the meeting. Third, conflicts on disputed territories between China and India continue in different ways. On April 2, the Chinese Ministry of Civil Affairs issued a statement announcing the renaming of 11 locations in the disputed territories between China and India. The region, currently under Indian control, is referred to as Arunachal Pradesh by India and South Tibet by China. On the same day, the spokesperson of the Indian Ministry of External Affairs, Bagchi, stated on Twitter, "This is not the first time that China has attempted this. We firmly reject such attempts. Arunachal Pradesh has always been, and will always be an integral part of India." Previously, in 2017 and 2021, China made changes to the names of 6 and 15 locations, respectively, in the disputed territories between China and India, but India refused to recognize those changes. For 58 years following the end of the Sino-Indian border war in 1962, the border between China and India remained relatively calm. However, in May 2020, clashes erupted again in the Ladakh region along the border, resulting in the deaths of at least 20 Indian soldiers and 4 Chinese soldiers, leading to a rapid deterioration in bilateral relations. On December 9 of last year, there was a minor skirmish between the Chinese and Indian troops in the border area. Fourth, India continues to ban Chinese Communist Party (CCP) mobile applications. Since the outbreak of the border conflict between China and India in May 2020, the Indian government has repeatedly blocked Chinese CCP mobile applications, citing threats to the privacy and security of Indian citizens. In 2020, India issued a ban on 267 Chinese CCP mobile applications. By February 2021, India banned an additional 54 Chinese CCP apps. As of February 2023, India has banned 232 Chinese CCP apps, including popular global applications such as TikTok, WeChat, QQ, Weibo, and various computer games originating from China. The ongoing deterioration of Sino-Indian relations can be attributed to 3 major reasons. First, China and India have both historical and current disputes. From a historical perspective, the border issue between the two countries has remained unresolved since the 1962 Sino-Indian War. The China-India border stretches over 3,500 kilometers and can be divided into 3 sectors: Eastern, Middle, and Western. In the Eastern sector, in July 1914, the Simla Convention was signed between the local Tibetan government and the British colonial government in India, demarcating the McMahon Line and assigning the approximately 90,000 square kilometers of the southern region of Tibet to British India. After India's independence in 1947, it claimed this territory as part of its own. However, successive governments of the Republic of China refused to recognize it, and the Communist Party of China, CCP, has also rejected its legitimacy. The disputed area of approximately 90,000 square kilometers, known as the Southern Tibet region, is currently under effective control of India and administered as the state of Arunachal Pradesh. In the middle sector, which mainly includes the Sikkim region, China claims a disputed territory of approximately 2,100 square kilometers, which is currently occupied by India. In the western sector, It involves the Chinese-controlled Aksai-Chin region, approximately 40,000 square kilometers, and the Indian-controlled Kashmir-Ladakh region, approximately 59,000 square kilometers, which are adjacent to each other. In all three sectors, Eastern, Middle, and Western, there exist border disputes between China and India. From a current perspective, China and India are two populous countries in Asia, and they compete in various aspects such as economy, politics, military, technology, and culture. Second, the impact of China's wolf warrior diplomacy. Why did the relatively calm China-India border suddenly erupt into conflict in 2020 after 58 years of relative peace? One important reason is that the CCP has abandoned Deng Xiaoping's diplomatic strategy of keeping a low profile and replaced it with the assertive wolf warrior diplomacy characterized by an aggressive stance on multiple fronts. Since the 1990s, the CCP has rapidly emerged as the world's second-largest economy, taking advantage of Western appeasement policies. With the rapid growth of its economic power, China has significantly intensified its global infiltration efforts. The CCP's confidence in rewriting the international economic and political order has greatly expanded, leading to a more aggressive posture towards other countries. A group of wolf warrior diplomats have emerged on the international stage, engaging in confrontational rhetoric and aggressive behavior. The provocative behavior of CCP's wolf warrior diplomats has forced India to be highly vigilant and prepared in its dealings with China. Third, the impact of the reshuffling of the world's friendship circles. The outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in Wuhan in 2020 became a significant turning point in the reshuffling of the world's friendship circles. It was in that year that the CCP disregarded the Sino-British Joint Declaration and imposed the national security law in Hong Kong, transforming the one country, two systems into one-party authoritarian rule and sharply confronting the free world led by the United States. It was in the year that after taking control of Hong Kong, the CCP intensified pressure on Taiwan, which practices a capitalist system, leading to a sharp confrontation with the free world led by the United States. It was in that year that, taking advantage of the serious COVID-19 situation in the United States, the CCP launched a new Cold War against the United States. The 5 landmark events were as follows. Firstly, in January and February, Chinese warships advanced into the Central Pacific with military exercises near Midway Island. Secondly, in March, the announcement of the completion of the Fortress Sea Zone for strategic nuclear submarines in the South China Sea. Thirdly, in June, the announcement of the completion of China's space warfare deployment against the United States. Fourthly, starting in July, the most intensive military exercises in over 40 years were launched from the Bohai Sea to the Yellow Sea, East China Sea, South China Sea, and inland areas. Fifthly, on August 25, the People's Daily published a lengthy article criticizing the United States, with the central idea that the United States is the worst, and the People's Republic of China is the best. These 4 significant events led to the restructuring of the entire world's friendship circles. The outbreak of the Russia-Ukraine war in 2022 further accelerated the reshuffling of the aforementioned friendship circles. China's pro-Russian neutrality and the Russia-Ukraine war intensified the confrontation between China and the free world led by the United States. Today, an increasing number of countries have chosen to align themselves with the free world led by the United States, leaving China increasingly isolated with no genuine friends internationally. India, which previously pursued a policy of non-alignment in its diplomacy, has also shifted towards the United States due to the reshuffling of the friendship circles and the prominence of the US's Indo-Pacific strategy, which highlights India as a crucial player. India has become an important participant in the Quad dialogue mechanism involving the United States, Japan, India, and Australia, as well as the US's Indo-Pacific economic framework, leading to comprehensive deepening of military exercises, military cooperation, intelligence sharing, and more between the United States and India.